Yes. Good evening, friends. Meeting again in the session of Stuart Close Philosophy, and we are discussing the chapter number 8, that is the General Pathology of Homoeopathy. And while discussing this chapter, many aspects regarding the pathology, modern pathology, and its correlation with homeopathy, Close has tried to explain. He explained the concepts of modern pathology, which deals with material pathology, and the dynamic aspect of pathology in the form of chronic miasms, as explained by Hahnemann. He tried to explain over there. And then he explained that all the pathological terminologies which are labeled by the modern pathology are told by Hahnemann 50 years before. He has explained about the concept of bacteriology and homeopathy. And Hahnemann was very clear about his foundation that all those communicable diseases are caused because of the uh, acute miasm. The terminology which he has used is the acute miasm. It is nothing but the bacteria, virus, parasites, etc. And those were the things. Same thing is related with the doctrine of latency. Hahnemann have explained about it a way back. He explained that miasm is already there. Unless and until the collateral causes comes, this disorder never develops. So even though some acute miasm enters in your body, it never directly reflects as a disease. If the collateral causes, that is the constitution is for it, predisposition is for it, miasm is for it, hereditary tendencies are for it, or lastly the environment of the patient is for it, then and then only this acute miasm can cause a disease. And that this doctrine of latency was accepted by the modern science later. Third important thing which he tried to explain is related with the concept of metastasis. And that also was accepted by modern science a while later in the form of thromboembolism, in the form of cancer. And the last thing which we are discussing is the toxicological theory of the diseases, which also Hahnemann have explained that there is always a reaction between internal environment and external environment, and this goes right from the birth till his death. And because of which, till the internal environment adapts the external actions, there is health. If it starts reacting because of some or other reasons, because of some dynamic causes, if the vital force goes into the state of disorder, and then there is a development of disease. And if you want to treat those poisons, toxins which enters in your body, there are three varieties of antidotes which are present. One variety, if a material poison goes, yes, you have to give the physical antidote because it is physiological. Directly, action of the antidote is action of the poison is there. The antidote should be utilized in order to tackle that poison. But if it is not a physical and poison, then the question arises. If the toxins which are developed because of some of other reason, for example, trauma has happened and fever comes, or if there is some psychological stress and strain and a person gets disease because of some toxins which are secreted over there, then how to tackle them, how to how to remove them, then there one has to utilize the dynamic antidote. So for that purpose, he is coming to the conclusion that if you want to treat the material poison, you might require the physical antidote. But if you want to treat the dynamic disorder, then you will require the dynamic antidote. And that's why we came to the conclusion in the last lecture, in last paragraph, regarding these antidotes. And he started with next paragraph. Antidotes are commonly divided into three classes according to their mode of action. First is called as a physiological or dynamical antidote. Number two is chemical, and number three is mechanical. See how to tackle a disease depending upon what type of disease it is. It is too important. This paragraph is useful for everyone. If a patient of material poisoning comes to you, then how will you approach? What should be your antidote? If the patient with a dynamic disorder comes, then what should be your treatment? If the patient comes because of some accidental trauma or etc., then what should be your approach? This is what he has explained in these three specific actions. So mode of action either might be physiological or dynamical. Number two is chemical or mechanical. Those who are students, you must write over there. This is the MCQ 2 marks question is asked on this. Which are the three antidotes mentioned by Stuart Close? The physiological, dynamical, chemical, and mechanical. Now he first explains about dynamical and physiological antidotes. Dynamical antidotes in their crude state are themselves poisons of various degrees of power. Simple sentence. A sentence gives you exactly the meaning. Dynamical antidotes in their crude states are themselves poisons of various degrees of power. We'll take simple example, rush tox. What is the common name? Rush tox is poison oak. It is poison oak. So it is a poison. So you never give rush tox mother tincture 10 ml TDS. Patient will directly goes up because it is a poison. Nux vomica, it is a poison. Aconite, it is a poison. But when you utilize them in the dynamic form, they becomes medicine. When you develop them as an potentized remedy, then it works. So dynamical antidotes in their crude states are themselves poisons of various degrees of power. An antidote in the physiological or dynamical sense is toxic substance which, by virtue of its dynamic affinity for another toxic substance, has the power to neutralize that substance and remove its effects. This constitutes the cure and the only true antidoting, the working principle of which is applicable in the treatment and cure of diseases as well as poisoning. So what he is explaining over there, if patient comes to you with a typical features, he is having a rash, fever, blister around the mouth. It is associated with triangular red tip tongue. It is associated with damp cloudy weather, during damp cloudy weather. And patient comes to you and he says, doctor, it burns a lot. Please do something. I'm having very much severe pain since last 2-3 days. So what you can do for me? Now, you know, this is the picture of one remedy. Fever blisters around the mouth during damp rainy weather, along with triangular red tip tongue. Remedy is very sure. I know all of you know the remedy. What is the remedy?
Rush tox.
Yes, rush tox. How much you are going to give?
200.
10
Next day there will be a severe aggravation.
6x.
It is 6C, not 6X. It is 6. 6 means 6C. It is lowest because it is most superficial appearance. Here, you are using the principle of law of similars. You have selected rush tox on the basis of law of similars. You are producing same rush tox disease by giving rush tox C to the patient. This is too important. Here, what you are doing, you are using rush tox as a dynamical antidote to the case, and it is on the basis. It is on the basis of law of similars. You have given the same stimulus. It is in the form of dynamic remedy. Original disease was caused because of some of the reasons. Again, toxins were secreted because of which there is appearance of the rash around the mouth. Fever blisters have been developed. So here one type of disorder, poisonous disorder, you are treating with the another poison and in the same plane, because of which it disappears. A person who is continuously in stress, continuously doing lot of work, but mental work, not physical, continuously thinking about business, thinking about the goal, cannot sleep whole night, wakes at midnight, never gets sleep for 3 to 4 hours, and early in the morning, little bit sleep he gets, and then he was not fresh, and he suffers from severe acid peptic trouble. So, your patient is having severe burning, retrosternal burning. He feels that he should vomit it out. He feels that there is severe burning, better by some of the cold water or something, and he wants to take it out, and he is in an irritable mood. He's too sensitive. He wants quietness. He doesn't want noise. He is in such a state. Now, this has been developed because of some stress which has produced certain toxins, certain elements inside your body, and you have to tackle that with the help of dynamical antidote. Again, you have to take up into consideration the law of similars. You have to find it out a remedy which has the similar symptomatology, which when given in potentized form used to produce similar picture. So here you will use a medicine like anaxomica, again a poison in crude state, but now you utilize it in potentized form and cures the dynamic disease with the dynamic antidote. This is what is called as a dynamic or physiological antidoting. So this he explains over there. This constitutes cure, the only true antidoting, the working principle of which is applicable in the treatment and cure of disease as well as poisoning. Physiological or dynamical antidoting requires that antidotal substance shall be pathogenically similar to the poison, but opposite in direction of its action. Action is directly upon the organism, indirectly upon the poison. Physiological antidoting takes place between the drugs according to the law of repulsion of similars. So when you prescribe a remedy like a nux in such types of cases, here you have to take into consideration the symptomatology of the patient. Here you are not prescribing because you feel. Here you are prescribing because you know that Naxomica, if given to the healthy human being, used to produce similar type of action. Reaction, not it is not action, it is reaction. When you prove it is a reaction. So you know the law of similars over there. Now this law of similars, how it removes the natural disease. Again, the nature's law of cure works. Patient has already the similar set of symptoms caused because of natural disease. Now you are giving artificial a stimulus which will going to produce artificial disease. Nature's law of cure says that a weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in the living organism by a stronger one if latter is very similar to former in its manifestation. So here the manifestations are same, only the kind is different. Then the original natural disease is completely removed, and this is what he is calling it as a physiological antidoting or dynamical antidoting. So this happens only in case of homeopathy with the application of law of similars, with the application of nature's law of cure, and then it works. It indirectly removes the disorder symptoms. It never produces a direct effect like a like a physical antidote. It is not like there is acid, you give alkali. It is not the thing. It is the thing on basis of which you prescribe is the symptom or manifestation of the symptom. You have to take into consideration the totality. You have to match that totality and then apply that medicine to the patient. And this is called as the first variety of antidoting called as a dynamical or physiological antidoting used to happen in homeopathy. What he says further, medicines producing similar symptoms are related to each other and are mutually antidotal in proportion to the degree of their symptom similarity, said by Bonnius. Hence, the rule, let similars be cured, treated by similars, similia similibus curantur. So what he is explaining same thing, law of similars again. If you treat that patient with the help of similar medicines, that is the manifestations are similar, then it removes that original disorder, ultimately removing the toxins over there. And this is what is called as a physiological or dynamical antidote. So first variety of antidote, which Close has explained, was the physiological or dynamical antidote. And just right in front of it, it means the homeopathic antidoting, prescribing on law of similars. Now comes the chemical antidote. And chemical antidote is the question which arises when there is a chemical poisoning happens. So what he says next, number 2. So here, one by one, he has explained that in his first variety, he has explained about the physiological. Now he turns towards the chemical antidoting. And what he says, chemical antidotes acts on the poisons themselves rather than against their effects. So if acid is there, give the alkali, chemical poisoning, chemical antidoting. It never considers on the effects. It is considered directly upon the poison, to neutralize the poison, not on the effects. In first, we used to prescribe or we used to take into consideration the manifestations. So here it is not the question of manifestation, here directly antidoting the poison itself. So chemical antidotes acts on poisons themselves rather than against their effects. Their action depends upon their property of uniting chemically with the poisonous substances and altering their chemical and physical character. So it is direct action of the chemical. It is in material form. Give it to that, and that will tackle the condition. For example, we'll take again example of organophosphorus poisoning. If organophosphorus poison is there, if you give the palm injection or if you give the atropine, it works as an antidote. Palm is direct antidote of the poison. It is not the antidote of the manifestations. It is the antidote of the poison. So it chemically acts on it as a poison over there, antidote over there. By their use, soluble and absorbable substances are converted into insoluble and partly soluble substances, which may then be removed by the body by physical or other means. Their use is restricted in cases in which poison is known and capable of being directly acted upon chemically. So chemical poisons, when you use, when you know what poison is consumed. If you know if it is organophosphorus, you are sure, then you can utilize the chemical antidote. But if you don't know what it is, then it is rather difficult what to utilize. The remaining dynamical effects of the poison, if any, must still be antidoted dynamically. And this line one must understand and one must underline also. Remaining dynamical effects of the poison, if any, must still be antidoted dynamically. Means what? There are two things which happen. If a person has consumed certain poison, question arises why he has consumed poison. If it is not accidental, what is the reason? Why a person has consumed poison? He wants to,
Suicidal.
huh?
Suicide action.
Yes, he wants to suicide. He wants to kill himself. So killing himself is the thought which is dynamic. Even though you have treated him, bring him again into the life, but this thought, have you treated? No, you have not treated. Unless and until you give him homeopathic remedy based upon the law of similars, you cannot completely cure, you cannot remove that thought in his mind. First time if he has attempted chemical poison, next time he will not attempt the chemical poisons. He will find it out some other means. Because you have not treated the original dynamical thing. And for that purpose, last sentence is remaining dynamical effects of the poison, if any, must still be antidoted dynamically. Second important thing, because of the poison which gets absorbed, produces its effects on the body. Those effects which remains after the antidotes and everything has been finished, but if it is not going up, then you have to treat that patient as a complete whole case like any chronic disease, and you have to find it out, right remedy, right simillimum for that patient in order to remove the remnants of the poisoning. And that is again a dynamical antidoting. So if there is any case of chemical poison is there, to start with, it should be tackled with chemical antidoting, but after effect should be treated with the dynamical antidoting. Is it clear? So first, we have learned about dynamical antidoting or physiological antidoting, and second variety called as chemical antidoting. And now the third one he explains, it is mechanical antidoting. Actually, it is not antidoting, but he is explaining about all those things. Just see what he wants to say. So-called mechanical antidotes, while necessary and useful, do not properly come under the heads of antidotes. First sentence he has defined that these are not actually antidotes. They are merely means of accomplishing physical expulsion of the poisonous substances from the body, after which dynamical antidotes are required to remove the pathogenic effects of so much of the poison as has been absorbed, exactly as in cases where chemical antidotes are used. So mechanical antidoting means nothing but the methods which are followed in order to remove the poisons from the body. For example, gastric lavage. First important thing which you have to do if if a person consumes the chemical poison, first important thing you have to do for gastric lavage, to remove it as much as possible. That is too important. If you are able to remove maximum, there are better chances of surviving that patient and affecting that patient. So that gastric lavage, to which he labeled by the name of mechanical antidoting. Then second important thing, if it has been little bit absorbed, then how do you remove it from the system? If it is getting absorbed, what is the logic they use and how to remove them? Simple method. By providing more IV fluids and diluting the substances. That is the thing which they used to do. And using diuretics, that is another thing they used to do. This is for the absorbed thing. But if remnants remains, the effects of the poisons which have already been consumed affects the body, then it definitely has its effects. Then you have to utilize dynamical antidote, that is homeopathic remedy. So he tried to explain the whole concept, what exactly he means by the method of antidoting. So when it depends upon case to case, it varies from case to case. If it is physical antidote or chemical antidote in the material form enters in your body, then first to tackle that mechanical antidoting, that is gastric lavage, remove the poison as much as possible. Number two, give the chemical antidote immediately to tackle the material poison, and then remnant should be treated with the physiological or dynamical antidote. So all three are very, very important aspects of handling the cases, which he has tried to explain, and he explains clearly the concepts. Many questions are there. People's mind, there are many questions. People ask, doctor, is there any remedy in poisoning cases? Whether homeopathy deals with poisons, whether there is any remedy for snake bite. There are multiple questions which people ask you. Then you should be very clear about your thoughts. And this is what the answer of it he has mentioned over there. It depends, it varies from case to case. If it is an emergency where the material antidote is or material poison is consumed, then you have to institutionalize that patient, then do mechanical antidoting, followed by chemical antidoting, followed by the dynamical antidoting. So your thought should be very clear, approach should be very clear. Then it is possible to treat those cases and manage those cases. So that's all for today. We'll stop over here, and tomorrow not tomorrow, on Monday we'll continue with the same chapter, the remaining part of the chapter. So see, Stuart Close philosophy gives you homeopathic management, how to handle cases, what should be the approach, how one should go for. All those things you are going to learn in this Stuart Close and Roberts philosophy, and which is very essential from practice point of view. So we'll stop over here. Today evening we'll meet again with the Kali phosphoricum, a very important remedy from 12 tissue salts, and very, very, very useful in your day-to-day practice remedy. So be there at 8 o'clock. We'll meet.
Sir, one question is there.
Yeah.
Sir, in case of pathologically advanced cases like CKD, sir, in that case, what is your view about mother tincture in case of antidoting?
No, mother
So it
tinctures,
is not.
mother tinctures I never use for antidoting, not at all.
Sir, actually, is it Stuart Close meaning that antidoting means giving dynamic medicine that poison has created in the body?
Yeah.
And that in that case, mother tinctures are any advanced pathological cases. I'm requesting your view, sir.
Pathological cases, when you are dealing, you have to understand why this pathology has been developed. For example, today I had a case of CA ovaries with metastasis. First follow, she came after 3 months. In between, first time she came 3 months back. It was CA ovaries with metastasis, with already hysterectomy and ovariectomy was done, and everything was done, and nothing worked. And thereafter they came for homeopathic treatment, and we have started with homeopathic remedy. In that case, the question was that there was a history of suppressed ringworms. Suppressed ringworm itself was responsible to produce such a big pathology. I took the whole case, I dealt with patient, I have explained all those things, and patient was on continuously on 3 months with medicines. Today she came right from Mumbai to Sangamner for follow, and there was absolute change. Internally, she is absolutely normal, absolutely healthy. Externally, she has developed ringworms all over body. Pathology, when you deal, you have to deal with all aspects. It is not with mother tinctures. Pathologies are there, you have to find it out what may be the cause, what may be the miasm, what may be the exact dynamical pathology, that you have to understand. If you are able to treat that, then it is quite easy to get the results over there. So it is not antidote word, you should not use as an antidote which is used in allopathy. Here antidote word is used in order to explain the line of treatment or line of management of cases. So here you should not take it as it is antidote word. Antidote word is word which is useful only in cases of physical poisoning or material poisoning. Otherwise, when we deal with all cases, we deal with the same manner. So pathologies, there is not a fixed line of treatment. Only fixed line of treatment is to find it out a miasmatic cause and treat accordingly. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, that means Stuart Close is also telling us that poison is from dynamic poison in the body.
Yeah,
and we are dynamic.
If it is dynamic disorder, then you should treat it dynamically. If it is material, then you must treat it material. Simple.
But sir, my question was that, if it is CKD patient age around 80, in that case,
In that case, you have to
analysis.
take the whole case and you have to find it out why CKD is there. The CKD
Okay, sir.
has, it is a result. Why it is there that you have to catch.
Okay,
And
sir.
then you have to treat the CKD.
Thank you, sir. Now, actually, sometimes we use, sir, mother tincture in CKD patient also. So
No,
getting result.
actually, that is a palliative mode of treatment.
Okay, sir.
So that's all for today. We'll meet again Monday. Thank you.